student at Georgia Cyber Academy. Thank you for allowing me to participate. How did COVID-19 affect my education? During school during the pandemic has been a complete adventure. It affected my education in so many ways that one paragraph can never describe it. I can honestly say it was like a real roller coaster ride. In the beginning, my brothers and I was elated when we got the announcement that we were doing school from home. Then we had to worry of who's going to be here while my mom was at work. The whole idea left a huge question mark, trying to figure out what was next and how life in school was going to look like during the pandemic. Missing my 5th grade soiree and graduation was one of the lowest points of the pandemic for me. We had it all planned out. We prepared speeches and videos of what we would say to the upcoming 5th graders, and it all went down the drain. I was crushed. I could not even say the proper goodbyes to my favorite teachers or friends. I tried to keep an open mind, listening to my mom. She stated, "Next year, it's going to be completely different. Mark my words." It was different, all right. My mom turned the den into our classroom. My classmates turned into my 2 sickening brothers, and we became my mom's co-workers.
Scott. I am a student at the Ebenezer Middle School. Today my presentation is on how the pandemic affected my education. I would like to thank you all for allowing me to participate. Do you remember when everyone had to go to online school because of the pandemic? I do. According to the Census Bureau, nearly 93% of households with school-age children report some form of distant learning during COVID-19. The pandemic has affected my education in many ways. One way it had affected my education was that I had to attend school online. Another issue was it caused my grades to drop because I wasn't as engaged. Also, when I returned back to school, we can no longer do any group projects because of the social distancing. When I had to go to school online, it was a big change for me. I had to learn how to use a program called Google Meets, and I had to learn how to do my work online. It was rough, but I got the hang of it eventually. Sometimes I had issues logging on to the computer, or my teacher would have issues loading the documents that we needed. When the internet was down, I could not join my classes. It was not an enjoyable time for me. The pandemic also affected my education because I stopped doing some of my schoolwork during my online classes. I also thought it was a good idea to turn off my camera during the Google Meets and watch SpongeBob. In my defense, that's what I would usually do when I was in my room. So, I know it was a ridiculous idea, but at the time, I thought I was being smart. Turns out, wasn't that smart and my grades dropped a lot. I got in trouble with my mom and my teacher, but it helped me and my grades got better in the end. Finally, the pandemic has affected my education because I can no longer do any more group projects even after returning back to school. Before the pandemic was a thing, I used to do all these very amazing group projects at my school. They were really fun and I enjoyed them very much. My favorite project was when I was in my elementary school. It was in 5th grade and I was with my friends Sire, Skylar, and Joshua. We were all detectives working on a case for the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. We got our own badges and folders. We had to take an oath just like the police officers did. It took about a week for the entire class to finish, but overall, I do miss doing these group projects and can't wait to get back to them. In conclusion, the pandemic has really affected my education. I had to change from attending to online school in person. I had to change from going to school in person to going online. I had to stop doing my work. Because I thought I could get away with it, which brought my grades down a lot. I also had to stop doing group projects even when I returned back to school in person. I would be happy with these things. We're back to normal. Thank you again for this opportunity to be a part of this essay contest.
hello to the Consortium of Doctors and Dr. Burt. My name is Nia Conley, and I'm a student at Islands High School, and I'll be discussing how the pandemic affected my education. Melancholy is the word that I started off my essay with, because I felt that was the best word to describe how I felt after the sudden adjustment, a pensive sadness. And this grade fluctuation and this adjustment started not only with nerves, but anxiety. Anxiety about multiple things. Anxiety about my grades, my college, how it would look if it continued like this, how my parents would think of my education if it suddenly started going downhill. And not just anxiety about grades and learning, anxiety about other students. How would it be when I suddenly came back to school? They've never met me and I don't know them. We don't know anything about each other. We haven't had the opportunity to know each other anywhere but over a camera. Anxiety about the teachers. Would they like me? Would they think I was smart enough to be in their classes? Would they want me in their classes? And this anxiety made it hard to form connections. And connections are something I think is very important when it comes to learning. Because connections can mean so many different things and be the cause of so many things. Connections to teachers, connections to the subject matter of your classes, connections to the students are all important in a learning environment. Because connections to students will help you with group projects and making friends and making connections for later in life. Connections to teachers will get you the resume that you need, will get you the recommendation that you wanted. And connection to the subject is what I think is one of the most important. Connection to the subject makes you want to learn, makes you want to get better. And before I conclude, I'd like to commend you for how you commemorated Miss Hadia with this essay contest. And I'd like to thank you very much for allowing me to participate in this essay contest.